Rohit, should we wait for some time or should we start? It's 6 now.
Yeah, we can just wait for 2 to 3 minutes and then we can start.
Okay.
Yeah, just allow me 2 to 3 minutes and then we'll start.
Okay, sure. Rohit, let's start, I guess. It's 6-2. If people come and let them in, you can start.
Sure. Yeah. A very good evening to everyone present here in India and a very good morning to everyone present in Chile. I, Rohit, welcome you all to today's webinar titled Opportunities and Challenges in Sales and Marketing for FMCG Industry post COVID-19. I hope you all are doing well, and I'll quickly brief about today's agenda. We'll start with an introductory presentation on Channelier, followed by a discussion and question answer round with our speaker who will be sharing his expertise and knowledge about the topic of discussion. So firstly, I would like to invite you all to the world's biggest FMCG awards of the year, that is Channelier FMCG Awards 2021. The online event is scheduled to be held in December of this year to celebrate the contributions of the brands and manufacturers towards the FMCG sector across the categories of product of the year, product launch of the year, and brand of the year. Moreover, you can find the link in the chat box to register your brand for Channelier FMCG Awards 2021. Priyanka will drop the link in the chat box. So moving ahead, I would like to request Ajay to brief us about Channelier and its capabilities. Yeah, over to you, Ajay.
Hello everyone, very good evening to all of you from India and very good morning to everyone from Chile. I'm Ajay, I'm going to present Channelier and discuss few features very quickly as I have time constraints. Channelier is a secure cloud-hosted closed network for channel management for DMS, distribution management system, online channels and SFS, Salesforce automation. In Channelier, brand owner can access all retail sales data to optimize distribution and align marketing strategies with field operations. Channelier is a completely network solution which creates accounts for your entire field force, your channel partners, and even their employees on a single platform. Everyone from manufacturer to all channel partners, either from the distributor, retailer to delivery boy, promoters, everyone gets to securely access whatever is relevant to them and only that. Let me share my screen to show some features in front of you. Please do let me know once my screen is visible.
Yes, Ajay.
Do you want
Yes,
this?
Ajay. Yes, Ajay.
Fine. So very quickly, we'll discuss few Channelier features. So the first feature is the administrator can add as many employees as he can with different access rights. If he can also set the employee hierarchy with supervisor chain, and he can also disable the employee as well. The second feature is attendance. All the salesmen and users can mark their attendance, mark out, mark. They can also mark absent as well. We capture the location of every activity on Channelier. There are several other features in attendance. They can also mark their attendance using voice command, using fingerprint sensor and all. Let's discuss salesman beat and tracking. So the administrator or the distributor will create a beat for every salesman. They can assign those beats to periodically or ad hoc, and in Channelier they can create an optimized route plan for their beats. Tracking. All the users, all the employees' movements are tracked at a preset frequency. All activities is also tracked with a timestamp location. Uh, all the activities of employees are monitored and can be seen on the map. There are other several features in tracking. We also track the pause time and other things in while tracking. Let's discuss inventory. In Channelier, we manage all the inventory stocks, all the transaction, all the debits and credits of the inventory stocks. We manage all the primary and secondary inventory. We also manage warehouse stocks with inputs, outputs, and audits. We also manage channel partner stock with sale, purchases, returns, gifts, and audits. And there are other several features. Let's discuss orders and returns. In Channelier, all the channel partners, including super stockists, distributor, retailers, salesmen, everyone can place their order, which can be which directly can be delivered to their upper level hierarchy. They can see the current stock, they can see the last order, they can see the last order value, last order quantity, and other things as well. They can share the orders over WhatsApp, email as well. They can also claim the returns at primary, secondary, and tertiary level. There's a feature of recording of payments and expenses as well. In Channelier, everyone can, salesman can record the payments, distributor and super stockist can also record the payment. They can also capture multiple payment option like credit card, cash, bank, check, NFT, RTGS, etc. They can also make directly payment to seller through UPI ID as well. So all the salesmen, all the field guy who is visiting the market can also record their expenses with real time. They can also capture the invoice of the image of invoice. The all the reports of expenses will be used in claims management. And now, thank you so much. That's all. We have a very time constraint. Now I'll hand over to Rohit.
Thank you, Ajay. I hope it was helpful to everyone for understanding Channelier. To know more about Channelier or schedule a demo, you can check the chat box for the link, or you can even mail us uh, at the following email ID, that is contact@channelier.com. So, moving ahead, I would like to introduce you to our speaker, Mr. Sebastian Villalobos Moltedo. Sebastian has a vast experience in the FMCG industry and has worked with companies like Unilever, Nestle, and Coca-Cola. He has an academic background in retail and strategy. Moreover, he has a broad experience in trade marketing, shopper marketing, category management, commercial strategy, sales and channel development, and business unit direction in South Latin America. So today he would be sharing his knowledge and expertise on the topic of challenges and opportunities in sales and marketing for FMCG industry post COVID-19. So welcome Sebastian. I would now like to hand over the stage to you to enlighten us with your knowledge.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Rahid, for your introduction. So, you kind of stole my second uh, my second slide in here. Then it's not working. This thing. Okay, there it is. And it was about my background, my professional journey, career, all the different aspects of the commercial strategy and operations that I've been involved to, that come back to trade marketing, category management, customer marketing, shopper marketing, channel strategy, revenue management, portfolio management, pricing, e-commerce, marketing, and last but not least, product development, launch, and retail introduction. And as you said, that being done in at least the largest three FMCG companies for Latin America and almost for the whole world are Unilever, the Coca-Cola company, and Nestle, and particularly CPW, that's a General Mills and Nestle joint venture. So, having said that, and please let me know if my accent, suits you, because we all have different accents in English. So, let's see, where are we now in the world? And this is a famous joke, and I hope that all of you have seen it. It's been kind of viral in all the WhatsApp groups and all the professional, networks and everywhere. The digital transformation in every single company was not led by either the CEO, the CDO, the CFO, whatever. It's another C. It's COVID. And what happened with this? It's pretty interesting, because companies had to compensate, and really they had to catch up on every single aspect that they had around the business. And as it's exposed there, they had to adapt or they were going to die. They were facing, this particular trade-off, and involving lots of aspects of the operation. It was not only about selling, but also how they were receiving payments, how they were making the procurement, how were they integrating forward in terms of B2C, how they were managing their logistics that went crazy from one day to the other, how they were going to solve all the last mile issues, and whether or not they were going to use some aggregators to fulfill their shoppers and customers and consumers' needs. So having said that, and now sitting, couple of months, more than a couple of months, a couple of semesters after all this started, we have to think this deeper. Was it a thoughtful move or not? And I would say, personally, my opinion is yes, it was a thoughtful move. It was something that had to be done. But it's not sustainable. And let me tell you why. Because before getting into an argument, and just for the sake of the argument, we need to clarify some concepts before and determine where we are in the middle of all this. Because one thing is to have a multi-channel strategy, and another thing is to have an omni-channel strategy. What's this, you might be saying? Because we were facing two different realities. If we get suit in the shoes of the retailers, that they were pretty brick and mortar basis. They also had some e-commerce pure players, and their focus was on shoppers. What was the COVID impact that they had? It was either store traffic or site traffic, and it went in an opposite ways for the former two. But for FMCGs, what did we see? They were suppliers of consumer goods. That's their duty, that's their job, and that's their business. So their focus is in consumers. And what's the impact that all this COVID thing had on them? Well, first of all, brand loyalty. So marketeers were just like hysterical, trying to figure out what to do. And what happened with the purchasing and consumption frequencies, and on top of that, and that's something that we're seeing nowadays with all the container and logistic crises all over the world, we're facing issues of availability. Some products manufactured abroad are not available in the stores, either they're physical or digital. So that's what they were facing. And what were the answers to the crisis that we saw? First of all, retailers decided, okay, let's put e-commerce on steroids. So all the efforts of the company were, okay, we have to catch up or develop or, just foster and nurture a lot and drive all the traffic to our e-commerce because we don't want to lose any sales. And for FMCGs or suppliers, they were relying on their customers, mainly retailers, but they said, okay, what about having some sort of full vertical integration? And they went to the B2C, and we can see nowadays in every single country all over the world that all the FMCG companies, not all, let's not talk in absolute terms here, but most of the large companies have somehow built a website for you to come and buy directly from them, just skipping the retailer in between. But we have to, and that was the invitation that I was making up to you guys, we have to think and go deeper and deeply understand what's all this about. And we need to start from our brand positioning. Either we're retailers or we are, supplying fast-moving consumer good companies. What we're facing is that our shoppers and consumers are getting these two realities. They're getting lobster and they're getting grilled sandwiches. And they're getting the same thing from the same companies. So what's going on with the real value propositions? How other companies, either retailers or FMCGs, interacting, with their consumers, shoppers, customers, as you name it. There's a very different experience than what we're seeing. Some of them have been focusing on the online experience, and they're getting lobster. They're getting the most finest dishes out there in the world through the online experience. For other retailers, is the other way around. And they're getting an awesome experience in stores, but a pretty lousy experience for the shoppers in the digital world. So there's not interaction among these contact points, and your value proposition, it's being a little bit cumbersome and alienating for consumers. And why is this happening? Because companies have separated both operations into two different directors, areas, managers, or you name it. And there is an absolute lack of a single vision. So if we try to put this into simple terms, it's like having a restaurant with different chefs running table service and bar. And that was like a survival scene. They said, we have to go and activate all this e-commerce experience or whatever. But as we all know, too many cooks spoil the broth. So what are the implications of this, besides costs, internal complexity, and a lack of shopper and consumer consistency? It's not only marketing and branding, as we were facing, that's like the real long term. But if we get into the numbers, the things that are pretty palpable for the guys in the companies, for every single one, from the CEO to the CFO and the customer guys. What we're seeing is that grocery retailers, and this is a study run by Bain and Company, are eroding profits because it, never mind, the digital or the e-commerce model that you adopt, that operation is more expensive than in-store operations. So in terms of margin, and we all know that retailer is a low profit industry with a huge mass, it's a huge volume, but is a low margin uh, business, we really need to take this into consideration and see if this is sustainable or not. Because if we're losing money in our e-commerce business, our model cannot rely on growing on e-commerce, and it's absolutely not sustainable. So, what we're seeing is that we're making our business less profitable while alienating our consumers and shoppers. So, I don't know if you know this guy, is very famous in TikTok and Instagram. It's like a no-brainer situation. We really need. There's the link if you want to see this guy in Instagram. There's the link down in the slide. But what I'd like to invite here for discussion is talking about real omni-channeling. And what's this about? It's about having a single and unique value proposition. And that is fulfilled through any available channel, whether it's brick and mortar, whether it's buy online, pick up in store, whether it's e-commerce with home delivery. It has to be a seamless experience. All the interactions and everything and all the communication and all the experience online and all the experience offline in stores has to be reinforced among them. So that's the O2O, online to offline, and the other way around, offline to online. We need to drive and we need to foster the retailer's ecosystem. We need to think this is an ecosystem with different contact points with our shoppers and our consumers. So, what are the implications for retailers? First of all, we need to have a single vision. It's one strategy, one commercial vision. But that means having one single commercial head. Call it C, whatever, O, as you want. Chief Merchandising Officer, Chief Commercial Officer, Chief Retailing Officer, whatever. That's just one single person who holds all the commercial strategy. And it's deployed through different channels. So we have to plan every single channel in an integrated way and see how all these different contact points interact among themselves. We do know that we need to nurture high margin products through the low channels for advertising within a real digital shift. And what about brand loyalty? People have been able to test and try lots of different products, and if they had like a satisfying experience, they might not come back. So just let me move forward. Once again, there's an advice here that our toll is going 24 minutes. Please let me know if this is it and how to manage it. I've already talked about this. Just let me go fast to what are we going to have to tackle in terms of revenue management. We'll have to dig deeper in terms of market prices. How can we sustain that with new packages, new sizes? Because we all know that the 99 cents or the 999 is pretty magical, and we do know that those build transactions. What's going on in terms of price architecture and how we are going to sustain this in a clever way in terms of sizes, brands, and with which frequency and that we're going to do some temporary price reductions. Let me get into the other slide here. Okay. In-store execution. There's going to be less time spent in store shopping. People are really valuing their available time, their leisure. So we do need, as I was saying, to impulse this digital and cross-channel purchases, because shopping occasions really matter. Because typically we saw sometimes families shopping. Well, families are going to stay at home. They're gonna stay, taking care of the kids, of the elderly. So it's going to be single shopping. What about emergency pantry filling trips? It's going to be excellent. So let's presume here we already have like 20-something participants. So we were talking about in-store execution and what we'll be facing, because there's going to be all different shopping threads. All of this is going to change. So probably all the imminent consumption and emergency pantry filling threads are going to be the main shopping occasions for brick and mortar. So high visibility is a must. And so as you see there is like an example with a Coca-Cola track in the middle of the store. But that's something that has to be sought. We do know that durable goods face a slightly different reality, because all, for example, department stores, home improvement, and so the interaction and finally all the connection with those categories it's different, because you don't buy a TV set, you don't buy a couch, a bed, dishwasher, or whatever every single day. So there's more involvement, and shoppers really try to see, interact, touch those products, and that's a little different. Once again, we must leverage on all these in-shop experiences, in-store experiences, to demand our consumers and our shoppers to help us, build the voicing and be our advocates by user-generated content. So, having this track with, I don't know, Instagram, QR, share this, win that, whatever, is going to be something pretty important for in-store execution, because that's going to drive traffic to the stores. And that's what retailers are eagerly seeking for their supplying partners to do. So in terms of marketing, and let's go straight to the marketing slide here, well, there's no silver bullet. We all know that. But, and there's a huge but here, it's pretty much about online. Despite traditional media, it's a lot about online here. Because lots of product information and stuff, it's all the research that consumers are making is online. So you really have, it's more than you really have. You must have a great SEM and SEO, deployment. As already told, user-generated content and generation of real interaction is a must. We need to use all the media, all the digital media, and all our online content to be integrated with buying options, online to offline. How can we drive traffic? How can we make people to go to the stores? And this is easy for some, but not at all, because there is it's a little tricky. And why is it a little tricky? Because for the large companies, it was easy to reach, in terms of media, lots and lots of consumers with, advertising on prime time and television. But nowadays, small companies, entrepreneurs can advertise on Instagram, in TikTok, and whatever social media you want, and they can reach millions of consumers easily. And the newcomers, are the ones that are really meaning an interesting menace and a huge threat for the incumbents. And that's what, the large companies have to do. They have to leverage and scale. They have to reach out to all the digital marketing and traditional, media, uh, different points of connection. And here's another tip: you have to associate with retailers and enable. It's just if I'm having laundry detergent, advertising or placement, or I have an ambassador that's making use of my products and sharing content in Instagram. Well, there has to be a little button there that says buy it at Walmart, buy it at Amazon, buy it at your favorite retailer, whatever. But we really need to seek for conversion. And this has to be made by exploiting artificial intelligence with media, with retailers, to increase trial and repeat of our products. There's a lot of it that's been done. Google, the Facebooks of this. Well, we need to really exploit that and fail fast. Let's pilot test lots of different initiatives, because this world, this new online world, it's pretty fast. And the newcomers, they're really willing to fail fast, and they're trying and trying and trying. There are some aggregators here in Latin America they're being spreading. They are like the huge competitor for Deliveroo, and they reach into a new market, and they begin like with one dark kitchen or whatever, one dark store, and they don't care. They just move forward and adapt. So that's in terms of marketing. And last but not least, there's a huge new world of leadership. And we'd say that micromanagement is dead. Because nowadays the world is pretty different. And I don't know if you've been able to see in the news all the people quitting their jobs in the States. Some statistics just put it around 3.5 million of people just leaving their jobs because they somehow discovered that they don't wanted to spend 3 hours a day commuting from home to the office. They don't want to be micromanaged, having their boss behind them all single day. So target-based people management is going to be the future. In terms of team management, we're going to see this hybrid, teams. So managers, directors, C-level executives will have their teams. Some of them at home, some of them, I don't know, probably getting a cocktail in a nice beach while in the middle of a meeting, and some of them will be in the office. But the skills required for that are different than what we've seen till now. We need new skills and a new style of leadership where support to the teams is a must. The proper and right direction, empowering your teams, having your teams really know and co-construct, co-build the strategy, being human and empathetic. Otherwise, all the talent within the companies will go to those companies that really have this sort of leadership in all the management. So that's pretty much what I have to share with you in terms of content. I don't know if there are any questions regarding what we've looking all through the presentation. So please feel free to just take the microphone and ask whatever you might need to discuss.
Definitely, we have a question from our audience. Sumit has asked, will there be a rise in unemployment because of shift of customers from offline to online?
I wouldn't say so. Probably there's going to be some sort of shift in terms of job types because probably the merchandisers, if the store traffic is not that huge, probably you will need to have like 30, 40 checkouts operating. You will need a huge amount of people regarding shelf replenishment, but it's going to be a job conversion because you'll be needing lots of people doing all the pickup that it can be pickup in store for the e-commerce business, can be pickup in dark stores or directly in warehouses, but you're going to need someone to deliver that to the consumer. So probably it's going to be a different set of jobs, but different numbers said that 65% of the consumers, and this is a worldwide number, so it's not particular to any geography, 65% of consumers are eagerly waiting to get back to the stores. People love shopping in stores. Not all of them, but at least 65%. So it's going to be, we're going to see a different balance because e-commerce has reached like a new plateau after COVID, but it's not going to switch like everything is going to e-commerce right now, and it's going to be the absolute future, and stores are going to be closing. That's not the way. And the e-commerce gurus of this world, as Amazon, they're buying stores. They are opening stores. They're opening like 300 square meter stores all over Manhattan, and it's going to be omni-channel. That's the world, digital. It's going to be all integrated.
Great. I hope Sebastian has resolved and answered the question. I hope Sumit has answered your question. So we have a next question from Dushyant Jagan. The question is that which single data point will have the most influence on the performance of FMCG businesses over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, Dushyant, if you could explain me what you mean regarding single data point. What are you? If you could take the mic and Dushyant, you there? Well, if you want, let's go to the next one. What is according to you are the major challenges to move online post-COVID? Well, for consumers, it's all the transaction costs because most companies, charge delivery fee. That's transaction cost. It's been huge. All the banking or transactional costs, mainly the credit cards and stuff. We've seen that mainly the elderly that were not that confident with buying with credit cards have moved and evolved in terms of that. And for retailers, I guess that they have to manage, the right product mix, just to go downwards in terms of channel mix, because we know that although digital world is more expensive to serve, so they have to move to that. And for FMCGs, if they want to move online, it's probably not a good advice to move or to sustain and keep a single website with your company alone, because shoppers, consumers are not going to have the time to receive at home like 30 different suppliers. So somehow associations between the largest and having some smaller companies associated with them. But if you can get like a nice supermarket basket, for example, and just one side, it's going to be a much richer experience for consumers, and that's how FMCGs can sustain, moving into e-commerce. Sonia asks here, how can brand owners and manufacturers maintain uniformity and consistency in the offline and online worlds? And how can this help with search visibility, bridge data silos, and connect with consumers to increase sales? Well, that's the key word there, Sonia. It's silos. As I was saying before, you cannot have two different chats cooking the same dish. So, in terms of communication, in terms of value proposition, the value proposition that your brands and your products, try to fulfill, all the needs that you need to satisfy, you cannot communicate in two different ways. You cannot fulfill those needs in different ways. One online, one offline. You communicate. You have to have one single vision, one single thing that's going to be deployed probably different, slightly different, but after all, it's the same message. But you cannot be saying different things in the online and in the offline world. So to provide consistency, that's an effort that, first of all, have just one single person in charge of the online and the offline of the company, whether it's a commercial, chief commercial officer, chief whatever you name it, officer. It has to be just one. If you want, for the operational side of the business, the logistics, supply chain, and everything, that's different. That's a different part of the business. But the strategy, the value proposition, all the branding, the message that you want to pass to your shoppers and consumers, the user experience has to be the same. And that has to be managed by just one single head and deployed throughout the teams in your company. Hope I can respond to your question with that. Sorry, we had feedback there. I don't know who was asking something.
I hope, Sanya, your question has been answered. So I guess we can move on to the next question.
Okay. Well, you're welcome, Sanya. So, Nitin or Martin, for here how COVID-19 affected sales and marketing for FMCG industry in rural areas. How it differs from that in urban? Well, that's a great question. And it's all about the reach, the coverage of e-commerce players. So probably in rural areas where there was no reach, it was business as usual. Absolutely, business as usual. All people going to just, I don't know, the mom and pops or the small local rural supermarket and the store and the hardware store they had uh, in their villages, in the towns. Um, and it's a huge difference because if I cannot get my Amazon, my JD package, my Alibaba package in my city, well, what can I do? Probably, and what I've seen, and I have to talk about this the experience here in this country, is that since large international players use these different couriers like DHL, UPS, and stuff, and they have coverage, they have been able to buy merchandise from them, from Amazon, and receive it in their rural towns or villages. But that accounts for mainly durable goods, electronics, and so. But the daily, and the basic products, all the fast moving that we're talking about here, like your soft drinks, your detergent, your bread, beef, whatever you don't eat, beef, chicken, all those needs have been fulfilled like in the traditional brick and mortar stores because they're not, there's not an offer for that. Probably is because of scale. So the suburban and rural areas are going to be seeing this probably in the near future when the scale of operation just it's profitable for anyone who wants to play there. There, IJ asked me, according to you, what's in store for the future? Well, the in store for the future is, first of all, experience, integration, how to, correlate the experiences online to offline. The O2O acronym is something that we are going to be hearing quite a lot in the next, few months and years, because what we're going to see is that, for example, something that IKEA has done. IKEA did it, and they were ahead of times. They did it pre-COVID. Instead of having like a huge store in Manhattan, for all their shoppers going and buying the products there, they had what they built. There was a pretty nice showroom, but you couldn't get any product and take it home from that store. That was a showroom because people really want to interact with furniture, with tablecloths, and with all that assortment that IKEA has. But you were able to have the shopping experience, the research, touch and feel, the drawers that you need, the desk that you needed at home. You were able to experience and fulfill that purchase through online. And they had these little tablets all over the store where you could buy what you were just seeing and have it scheduled to be delivered to your house within a decent time frame. So that's what's going to happen, and that's what the supermarkets, hypermarkets, and that sort of stores have to go thinking for the future. If there is an out of stock for some product, well, can there be like a QR code, in the shelf where I can add it to my mobile phone and have it in my digital shopping cart and have it delivered home when they have it in stock? That's the type of integration that retailers have to look and try to, think of the shopper and their consumers in terms of an ecosystem, and their needs are going to be fulfilled in any of the different contact points that I may have. One day is going to be in store, one day is going to be installed but bought through the e-commerce site or the app. Other times it's going to be the buy online, pick up in store. All these combinations are going to build, all the shopping experience of the future. It's not going to be just pure commerce, pure physical, pure whatever.
Thank you so much, Sebastian, for the answer, and I hope Ajay's question has been answered. Sebastian, we have one more question from Manshu. What should be the focus points for a brand by introducing?
Interrupt. I think this will be the last question we'll be taking, right?
Yeah, this is the last question.
Perfect. Focus points for a brand while developing a value proposition. Well, in that regard, I'd say it's different if it's a new brand or if it's a brand that already has its heritage. If it's a brand that has its heritage, well, you cannot, disregard what your identity has been in the past. You need to leverage on that. But there's some common ground, for established brands and new brands, and it's all about connection. How are you going to interpret? How are you going to really go and move deeper with your value proposition? What are the values, the real values that you're embracing with your brands? And there are lots of Simon Sinek, TEDx presentations about this, but it's quite a reality that now people don't buy, the what's. They buy the whys. So it's all about what's your purpose as a brand, how are you taking care of the environment, how's your stakeholders finally management, because people are going to be moving forward with this and really support brands with purpose. And that's probably easier for established brands to go and build an edge in terms of their value proposition and having additions, for the traditional single, value proposition, be redundant. But on top of that, how they build the purpose. For new brands, we'll see all the different, alternatives that they are going to put in the market, but being sustainable, having local community interaction, locally. I'm missing the word here. But all the connection with local farms, all the sense of the community. After all, the purpose is all that's going to be for the brands in the future.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. And I hope all the questions have been answered. So as we have reached all of.
If not,
yeah.
If not already it, I'm typing here my email in the chat, so you can reach me directly to my email, and we can go further with discussions. If you want, we can schedule a call if you want to dig deeper in any of these topics.
That's great. Yeah. So I would like to introduce to our founder, Mr. Ankur Gupta as well.
Hi, Sebastian. Thanks a lot. It was great, and I've already got so many messages that how useful the session was. I hope you had a good time with us.
I guess, yeah. Now.
Sorry,
Your video was stuck in between.
sorry. So, thanks, Sebastian. Thanks a lot. It was a great session, and we are already receiving messages from the participants. It was really good knowledge for them. I too had a good time as well.
I'm having trouble getting to listen to you. I'm sorry.
I extend my
I think there is some network problem. Sebastian, thank you for your time and this session.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting a little feedback in here. It's being okay. There it is. Sorry, Anchor. It seems you got your connection through your wire, so it's hard to get. I'd like to thank you very much, guys, on Channelier for your invitation. Glad to be able to share some of my experience and my foreseeing with you guys, and well, thanks a lot. And there's my email. If any one of you would like to contact me, I'll be glad to help. So thank you very much. Have a nice evening and goodbye.
Thank you so much, Sebastian. And
Thank you so much, Sebastian.
glad you're here. So I'm sure everyone is very excited, and we'll definitely ask you in deeper, and we'll definitely share you some questions and anything relevant which you can help us. Thank you.
So we will end the session here. We look forward to have you in another Channelier webinar.